breathing for energy. In last classes, we discussed all the details about human respiratory system. So today we shall learn how to maintain the health of our respiratory system. And also we shall learn about some of the diseases associated with our respiratory system, which mainly causes because of smoking. And also we shall learn about the respiratory system in some other organisms and also the process of respiration in plants. So we know that our respiratory system is very important. So we need to take care of its health. And do you know what are the instances that harmfully affect the health of our respiratory system? Yes, the dust, germs and all other some chemicals which are present in the atmosphere and we breathe in through the air, and this may result in some of the problems associated with the health of our respiratory system. And mainly we can say that nowadays our society, the people in our society have a bad habit of smoking. So smoking is very dangerous to the health of our respiratory system. Now we shall see some of the disorders which is caused by smoking.
Now we shall learn about the lung diseases which is caused by smoking. The first one is lung cancer, which is caused by carcinogens present in tobacco. Then it is emphysema, which is caused by the rupturing of alveoli due to the loss of elasticity by the deposition of toxic materials which is contained in tobacco. Emphysema also reduces the respiratory surface and also reduces the vital capacity. The next disease is bronchitis. The tar, carbon monoxide, etc., which is present in tobacco leads to the deposition of mucus, and also it results in the swelling of lungs, which is due to the entry of germs inside the alveoli.
So children, I hope all of you understood what are the dangers associated with smoking. Even though our respiratory system has several protective mechanisms to prevent the entry of germs or to prevent the entry of some dust particles, which are those protective mechanisms in our respiratory system? In our nostrils there is hairs and also mucus, and inside our lungs also there is mucus. So these are the protective mechanisms which is already or naturally present in our respiratory system. So for maintaining the health of our respiratory system, we can improve its capacity or we can improve its vital capacity. So what do you mean by vital capacity? Before learning about vital capacity, we shall learn about tidal volume and you will understand what is vital capacity. So first, what is tidal volume? Tidal volume means the maximum amount of air that we breathe in and breathe out in a normal respiration. So what is tidal volume? The volume of air that we breathe in and breathe out in a normal respiration is known as tidal volume. So it is about 500 ml in human beings. Tidal volume is about 500 ml in human beings. Now we shall learn what is vital capacity. So vital capacity is the maximum amount of air that we can breathe out after a forceful inspiration. Now we shall learn about vital capacity. So vital capacity means it is the maximum amount of air that we can breathe out by forceful expiration after a forceful inspiration. So this vital capacity can be used to measure the health of our respiratory system, or it is a sign of a healthy respiratory system. And also we shall identify the strength of muscles in our thoracic cavity with the help of tidal volume. And in normal human beings, in male, the tidal volume is about 4.5 liters and in female it is about 3 liters. In male, the tidal volume is about 4.5 liters and in female, the tidal volume is 3 liters. Now we shall learn how to measure the vital capacity of our lungs. So for that we need to make an arrangement for an experiment. So for that first we need to take 2 jars. Then we have to close it using a lid. So first we have to take 2 jars and you have to close it with lid. Then after that we need to attach a pipe. So the next step is that you have to fix a pipe just like this in the first jar, and at its end we have to fix a funnel. Then after that we have to fix another pipe. So the third step is that we have to connect another pipe just like this, which connects between the first jar and second jar. So now we shall start our experiment to measure the vital capacity. So what we have to do is, first we have to inspire forcefully. We have to inspire the maximum amount of air that we can take. Then after that we should keep this funnel around our mouth and we have to forcefully blow the air through this funnel. So when we blow air forcefully through this funnel, you can see that the water inside this jar just started to flow into this jar, into the second jar. So after the forceful blowing of air, you can see that a little amount of water reaches the second jar. So after that you can measure the amount of air which is present inside the second jar, and based on that measurement we can calculate the vital capacity of our lungs. So if it is 3 liters, then we can find out that our vital capacity is 3 liters, so it is normal. And if it is 4 liters of water, we can understand that our vital capacity is about 4 liters. So children, now we understood that all organisms take in oxygen for the production of energy. Then what about plants? Plants also utilize oxygen for the oxidation of glucose for producing energy. But while comparing with animals, plants required only less amount of energy. Then which are the ways by which plants exchange the gases, or how the plants take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide? So there are different methods by which plants can exchange the gases. So the first method is through leaves. With the help of stomata, they can exchange the respiratory gases. Then the next method is in roots and stem. There are special type of cells called lenticels. So through this lenticels, the exchange of gases takes place.